I'm starting to wonder if what your desire is for a quarterback isn't as important as we think it is. I mean, how many times am I going to watch quarterbacks who come into games and throw the ball all over the yard? And it looks pretty. Don't get me wrong. They're great at it, and they can read defenses, and they got the big arm and the accurate arm, and then they lose games.
Our boy, Big Z, Zander Krause joins us now.
Yes, Cam. What are you talking about, Big Sills?
Dude, that was great.
We had a great post game show last night.
Yeah, we did. We
did. We
saw the game. I wonder how you saw it now, 24 hours after. I mean, tell me some of your takeaways here. I mean, I've been saying it, I don't know, man. I mean, I see the game probably a little bit different than a lot of folks did, but it's September. So I'm not freaking out. I mean,
that's where I'm going.
Last night was probably a lie.
The further we move from the game, the more I keep reminding myself it's week one. Like, you got the win and you're 1-0, and that's the number one takeaway. And that takeaway sits high and above the rest of the takeaways. Now, there are other takeaways. There are things that we can discuss, but the takeaway of week one and the sloppiness of the game and how it's all going to play out and what we expected it to look like in week one, I think that's really the key takeaway. I have a couple thoughts. I mean, my thoughts on Carter have evolved a little bit, but not crazy from where I was. My thoughts on Patullo have changed a little bit. And I'm still a little dumbfounded by some Eagles fans on Jalen Hurts. I don't understand what some people are looking for. Underdog, I'll go to you. Underdog, I love you, brother. But, like, I'm starting to wonder if what your desire is for a quarterback isn't as important as we think it is. I mean, how many times am I going to watch quarterbacks who come into games and throw the ball all over the yard? And it looks pretty. Don't get me wrong. They're great at it, and they can read defenses, and they got the big arm and the accurate arm. And then they lose games, or they don't go, they don't win, and they don't get to where you want to go. And then Jalen comes in, and he doesn't look like all the other guys, but he continues to put the team in a position to win football games. And I care more about that. I care more about that than liking what the quarterback looks like to me. That's just my perspective. I care more about bringing that to this city. I've watched people be a fan of this team for a long time and never have success like this. Now, whether you want to say it's Jalen or the team or Howie, whatever, but Jalen's brought everything to this team that I want when I'm a fan of the Eagles. I want them to win games. I want them to be at the top of the league. I want everybody to fear the birds. I want to win Super Bowls. I want to have parades down Broad Street. And nothing that Jalen Hurts has done has stopped those from happening. In fact, he's increased the odds and all those things of happening since he's taken over as a starter. So I think there's some context there. We'll talk about it. I thought he had a great game last night. As far as Jaylen Carter, still pitiful. I mean, that's a reality. I mean, it was a pitiful move by him. It was stupid by Dak and what he did. You got to be bigger than that, dude. You got to be bigger than that. You got to be able to look past that. And I think you said it at the open. Like, dude, I like the vulgar phrase you used. I think you said, I'd rather hit him in the head with a hammer. I think you said,
right, or I'd rather kick him in the nuts.
And I'm with you though. If Dak spits at you and you think it's directed at you and you swing on him and get thrown out, I could probably be like, yeah, it was stupid. But at least, I can, you're spitting on it, dude. Like, bro, that is like the lowest of the low, spitting on a man. I don't think that. So I didn't like that perspective. I didn't like that from Jalen Carter, but I think he's going to grow from it. I thought Jalen spoke on it. Jalen Hurts spoke on it. He said he talked to Carter. They were on the same page after it. I respected Carter for staying because, he didn't have to stay. He could have left. And he stayed, waited for the media, talked to the media, kind of said his piece. So I give him a little bit of respect for that. Stay? What's that?
You sure they didn't make him?
They might have made him stay. They might have. Yeah, they might have. I mean, probably Bob.
They wanted him to maybe stand there and own it.
Yeah, they probably did. I mean, let's be real. They probably did make him stay. But again, I think he said the right things. Now the question will be if you do the right thing. I don't really care what you say anymore. And that goes for everybody. I'm not interested in what people say. I'm interested in what people do, and I think that's the far more important thing here. So what will Jalen Carter do? How will he handle it? I mean, remember, this guy's going to be the anchor. This guy's going to be the anchor of this defense for a long time. Those are the type of things. Yeah, exactly, Sills. It's bigger than just emotional immaturity. It's bigger than just a split-second bad decision. You're talking about like you just said, what processes do you have in place to make the right decision more often than not? And that's an important part of becoming a man and maturing. And he's a young player. I get that, and he's admitted to being a
Okay,
little bit.
we're getting to the point here now where you have a record, though. And I mean by a record, you have a behavior record.
Yeah.
And what I don't like hearing is people go, well, I don't believe Dak, but I believe Jaylen Carter. Why? Dak doesn't have any kind of resume where Dak's done anything in the past, where Dak has made some sort of like ass of himself or some character move. Carter's the one with all these things. A year ago, the stuff in Georgia, now this. And by the way, the reason that the stuff in Georgia gets brought up is because of last night. That stuff gets brought up because of last night, because you know why? You can't outrun it. So I'm going to give that guy $205 million in guarantee, or $205 million, and I'm going to give him $150 million in guarantees. And I got to look at that guy, and I've got to trust that guy. Hey, bro, he's an immature kid right now.
He is.
Who still needs to grow up.
And I saw some people upset with the fact that old stuff is coming up. But, like, I'll put it to you like this. I mean, if you got a criminal, right, who commits one crime, goes to jail, does his time, whatever, goes through the process, and 20 years later, the guy still hasn't committed anything, you might regain trust in that guy. You might think, all right, he learned his lesson. That might have done him good in life. You get a criminal that's got 10 straight crimes, you're going to be like, the next time you let him out, you're not going to think he's not going to commit a crime. Now, again, that's an extreme example, but I'm just saying those old things get brought back when you show that you haven't grown from those old things. And that's where the problem is with Jaylen Carter, because, again, you say the right things, but young man, nobody wants to listen to you anymore. We want to see what you do. We want to see how you handle yourself. And I think that's the most important part with him. But he's obviously a great football player. He's going to get leeway because of that. How good he is. There were some people
I'm going to give it to him.
Well, I agree, but I mean, there's some people in the Discord, the JAKIB, whatever, where people chat, and one person in there was saying they're standing on their principle and they don't want the guy on the team anymore. And they weren't saying cut him. They were saying, in my opinion, that type of thing, principle has to supersede. And I agree, you're not going to cut Jaylen Carter, and it's a crazy talk. But from the element of having a principle and a moral compass, I mean, those are the type of things you got to correct. You can't go through life acting like that. You can't expect to get paid a bag of money for $40 million a year acting like that. You got to show me that you've matured, that you're more of a man today than you were, when that stuff happened. And I'm in your camp, Sills, where I don't like to count people out. I don't like when somebody does something wrong to put them in a shoebox and never let them get out. I believe in second chances. I believe in third chances. I believe in that. I really do. But if you don't prove to anybody that you give a damn, or that you actually are, in your actions going to change who you are and why you've done things, then I think that's almost going to do even worse damage, because it's going to make people, not trust you, not believe in you, and quite frankly, maybe not want anything to do with you. And that's where Carter's got to be careful. It's time to kind of grow up for him, I think.
If people remember on draft night, I've been for it and I'm still for it. I mean, listen, I don't want that to be coached out of the player. I want it to be refined by the coaching staff. You want a dog. You want a guy that lives on the edge. You want that nastiness with a guy. However, you also want a smart player. You want a person who you want to have as your leader. That's one thing you want to have, is you want to have him be your leader. As a matter of fact, I mean, when I look to people in that huddle now, Carter's not one of them. I mean, he's just not one of them. That's not leadership. I mean, do as I say, not as I do. I can't have that. I mean, let me ask you this then. Nick Sirianni's leadership will be put to the test here, because he preaches all this stuff about locker room, clubhouse, process, everything. I get that he's going to do everything internally here. But, I mean, giving Jaylen Carter a hall pass, that's counterintuitive of what this guy does as a head coach.
All right, well, let me ask you
this. He keeps telling you about character, process, culture. Well,
let me ask you this.
Is this part of your culture?
So how do you gauge this in professional football as compared to a situation where a college team or Jimmy Johnson or the Nick Saban era, where, those coaches have a real responsibility to develop men, to improve men, and to, if something like this does happen, you got to get a control on it. Now, you get to the NFL level. Now, I'm not saying you're wrong about Nick Sirianni. He should do something as the coach of the team about this, to handle this, to get in front of this. But, dude, I'm not looking to Nick Sirianni to bail you out every time. I agree. Let's see. But Jaylen Carter, you're a fucking grown man, dude. You got $150 million. You really need Nick Sirianni? Wait, you really need Nick Sirianni to get you on a straight path? At what point as a professional do you just say, you're a grown man? You got to carry your weight, sir. You got to carry your weight.
I'm going to give you an example here. We had Michael Irvin on yesterday, right? Okay. We had a situation at Miami with him. I'm not going to go too deep into what it was. Jimmy Johnson called Michael Irvin into his office, and he did it again when he got arrested in Dallas. He looked at him in the face and he went, I'm building something here. You want to be part of this? I want you here. If you don't, you let me know right now, because I'm not going to fucking bail you out any longer. You are going to toe the line here, and you are either going to produce and you're going to act like if you're going to act like a civilized human, or you are not. You've got to believe that coach has that autonomy in the room.
Yeah.
Does Nick have that? I don't think he does. But I think he's a good connector with players.
He is.
Because I think that the organization does empower him, that's part of his job description. You know the problem that I have with the Eagles? They're never hard on their players. They never say anything publicly like this. I never hear this. This guy's got to be better. Mike Tomlin calls these fucking guys out every single time when there's a problem. Mike Tomlin has no problem anybody asking him, going, Marquise Pouncey's got to be better.
I don't know. I mean,
pull that bullshit.
I agree, but there are some things I think that I've seen, behind the scenes, and hey, maybe it's state media bullshit, but sometimes I watch the Eagles channel or some of the content that comes out from the NFL of the behind the scenes, and even the thing that aired on the NFL Network the other night, and Nick was holding people accountable. Now, where you're right is they don't do it publicly, and part of me, respects that. I think Tomlin's way is fine too, but sometimes I think things should be kept in house. Sometimes I think you should keep things close to the vest, and you should keep things that are personal, or that are team business. So I don't know if I can look at it from that perspective.
But my problem with the Eagles are, though, they go out of their way to do and manufacture bullshit that's not true, like the banner night thing. The other things that don't make it genuine. It just doesn't seem genuine, because he has ungenuine moments where you go like this. Dude, there's nothing ungenuine about Mike Tomlin. That guy is who the fuck he is. That's who that guy is. Nick will come out and do some song and dance for the front office. And it's sometimes, if you're not going to do it, Zander, be like Belichick. Give him shit. Hey, look, I like the way he went like this. Hey, how do you think you're going to be able to hit? He goes, listen, we're going to keep everything in-house. He goes, that's just the way we're going to do it. They asked him the question 3 times, and he answered it the same way. That's the right thing. It is. Okay, I listen, I think I'm not at all out on the kid. I'm not all out.
That's crazy talk. I'm not out on the kid at all. But it was a dumb move there. I want to see you grow now. All right, now I'm like, it's time.
Does this sound bad, Zander? Does this sound bad? You're too good for me to quit on.
Well, you're too good for me to quit on, but you got too much in front of you for me to have to be in your face every day for you to become a man. I'm sorry, but that's the one spot I disagree with you. I don't know. Maybe you didn't mean it to that extent, but dude, it's not on Nick. I mean, in a sense, it's on Nick to keep his team on the tracks. But dude, Jaylen Carter's a grown man. At what point do you, as a grown man, take responsibility for the life that you're allowing to unfold in front of you? I try and take radical responsibility for everything in my life, good and bad. Now, I'm not saying I'm better than Jay. I'm just saying I think every person should have that approach, especially as you grow and especially as you mature as a man. And certainly in the case of a player that's got everything in front of him. And when I say everything, I mean everything. I mean things that me, you, and everybody in this chat will never see. $150 million bag of money. Are you kidding me? That ain't enough.
Makes me question then your decision making that you would put that on the line like that for something that you don't have, takes no ability in. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I listen. Let's see how they handle it. I don't think they're at any kind of crossroads or anything. And by the way, get ready for Kansas City, kid. I mean, that's my takeaway. And I'm not gonna. By the way, if Nick's smart, he doesn't hammer the kid on it. He hammers him one time, and then we move on.
I think
and
Nick,
you know what?
Nick might put that autonomy in Clint's hands.
Let me tell you this: Clint was not happy.
Clint wasn't happy. Vic couldn't have been happy. Nick couldn't have been happy.
Clint had a meltdown when he got into the locker room after game. He had a nuclear meltdown.
I could see that. I could see that.
It would get this. I heard it wasn't anything about the game. It was just about what you said. It's about kid. Really? Yeah. We're a group, you know. What is that?
Yeah, dude, you got everything in front of you, man. I don't want to see you ruin that opportunity.
It had nothing to do with the game. It had everything to do with him being a man. Like, what is that? And so Clint talked to him like a man. And I was so glad to get that text. He's like, look, it's over with. And I go, and when he says it's over with, I believe him. So let me ask you this. So, and Zander, you may disagree with me on this one. And you and John may totally disagree on Kevin Patullo. But, I mean, I saw Jalen Hurts improvising off of bad play calling in the first half. And I'll tell you this, no one's going to convince me in here that 4 targets to Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown is elevating an offense. I saw a quarterback, when the plays weren't there and they weren't open, Hurts was wheeling like he was 2022 Hurts. And when you take off running, that's not a designed play, Zander. That's a quarterback seeing the game, improvising, using yards to move the chains. He was so effective on this. How many times do we keep saying this? Every time in 22, 3rd and 11, this fucker's picking it up with his wheels because he sees the game. They were shut down in the passing lanes. I thought Matt Eberflus had a hell of a night.
The only thing, my only pushback on you on that is what was he doing in the first half? I mean, you're playing all-man coverage. Jalen Hurts all he had to do was run around the tackle a couple times, and he had a free lane. I mean, he had 2 rushing touchdowns that way.
I know. You know what? And you know what? I don't know what he was doing with that.
Well, I know what he was doing. I mean, think about it. He handled Saquon Barkley pretty well, and he handled AJ and Devontae pretty well. So he clearly
kept 3 guys out of the game.
So he went man. He focused on Saquon and AJ and Devontae, and
he said Hurts beat us.
He was hoping that the offensive line was going to be able to contain Hurts. Hurts is a tough quarterback to contain, dude, because he doesn't have great pocket awareness, Jalen. You can tell he still gets happy feet in it's not his most comfortable.
But he has open field presence.
Exactly. That's exactly where I was going. Once he steps out of that pocket, man, he has a great knack for where everybody is on the football field. That's why I think he leaves so much, because he's just more comfortable out there. He's got a better feel for the game out there. So I think Jalen Hurts really
disagree on Patullo, man. I don't
think he had a great game. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't.
What did he do that was great? I mean, I'm not going to kill him. It's week 1. Let's see. One thing I do agree with Underdog on is he's like, so you're telling me they played 60 snaps or whatever it was, and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith didn't get open more than 4 targets? Like, and that's where I probably agree with Underdog. Like, you're telling me A.J. Brown didn't get open once?
I don't believe that.
I don't believe that either. So that's where you want to see now. You can't. It's tough to tell because you don't know.
It's game 1.
Right, and you don't know what the progressions of the offense are. You can read what you can through the TV screen, but it's hard to tell exactly what the progressions are. On the all-22, you can see them a little bit easier, but I have kind of a hard time believing that A.J. Brown didn't get open at least once in the first 58 minutes of the football game. But I will say this. There was a couple plays yesterday there was a couple plays yesterday where I saw A.J. Brown, a little lethargic, not really giving it his all. Now, they were running plays. They were plays that he wasn't involved in the game, and I wonder if some of the things you've been talking about are going to kind of rear its head this
Off
year.
ball.
Yeah.
Off play.
Like, I don't know if he wants another year of not getting the football, man. Like, he wants to be a receiver. Like, he wants to catch the football. He wants to run a route, and he wants that ball to come to him.
He wants to win the game his way.
Yeah. And to his credit, he didn't allow that to get in the way last year. And, that's
but then
part
again,
of it.
There's the Eagles glazing with one catch for 8 yards, making it sound like it's the play of the game. It wasn't the play of the game. It was a good play in the game, but it wasn't the play of the game. And what they're doing is they're trying to make the player feel good about himself for only getting one target. I mean, that's not genuine, dude.
Yeah, I agree. And the other thing is, I put out some of our editors created a short that we did last night on AJ Brown, and I'm like, I think about AJ Brown like I think about Saquon Barkley. Give him the ball, and somebody was like, it's week 1, don't start this now. They're winning games, or same thing as last year. And I'm like, dude, I don't care if they throw the ball 17 times. 8 of them should go to AJ. That's how good the guy is. I'm not asking you to change your offense, but when you do throw the ball, I don't know how you don't have A.J. Brown involved in that. I really don't.
Bro, I'm going to say this about your boy here. Hey, man, this kid Dotson's getting better. He's finding a role for himself. There's a role there for him. Hurts likes him. And do you find any coincidence that Dotson was the only guy working with him the entire training camp and offseason that here's a guy who made some critical plays. He made a big third down play, that play down the field. You think there's any coincidence the fact that AJ didn't play at all? Smitty missed a lot of time during training camp, and here's the guy that made some plays for you.
Yeah.
It was Jahan Dotson. By the way,
you got to give him a Jahan Dotson. Man. You got to give him a Jahan Dotson. So no, he looked good. And look, I think you're right about what you said. Any coincidence that he's the guy that was working with Hurts in Texas, that he was the guy who played all training camp? I mean, I think Jahan Dotson actually has an opportunity to be a big part of the offense this year. He made a couple other plays yesterday outside that he didn't get the ball in, but he made some blocks. I mean, he did some things. So we'll see. But I thought that was a positive. By the way, I thought that was a great throw by Jalen Hurts, man. That ball came off his hands, popped off his hands, and got there on time, on target, and on the money. So that was a great throw.
You hear what he said, too? He goes, I can't even believe, and I don't even think he saw the ball, but he tracked it late and he caught it. I mean,
yeah.
That's good shit there. Hey, let me ask you this. You think this is coincidence? This is second game in a row that Barkley's been under 70 yards rushing.
No, I think that's a progression of becoming what he became. A 2,000-yard runner. You're the number 1 player in football on the list. You're the offensive player of the year. You got the accolades. Everybody's talking about you. You're the cover of Madden. Everything. I mean, top to bottom, soup to nuts. I think that's a product of that to some extent, where teams, maybe last year when he got here, I don't know, teams didn't know what he was going to be because he wasn't that great in New York. And I think that's partly a product of that.
This is game 2 when he's been shut down.
Well, I mean, and the thing that the Cowboys did a little bit better than the Chiefs did in the Super Bowl was that they managed the receivers better than the Chiefs did. The Chiefs took away Saquon, couldn't manage the receivers. The Cowboys actually did a pretty good job defensively in taking away Saquon, also limiting what the receivers were able to do. And that's where Jalen just beat him. It is tough. It's a tough offense to stop, dude. I mean, if you think about it, last night the Cowboys, if I told you they're going to slow down Saquon to 58 yards, whatever it was, and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are going to combine for 22 yards, whatever it was, you'd be like, oh, that's trouble. But Jalen Hurts just figures out a way, and that's where they're really tough to defend.
Remember what I said yesterday to you? I said the Cowboys had to play an A game to be in the game. I still didn't think it was enough. And I think that game played out exactly how I thought it was going to play out. They played a C-plus football game, I thought, and they still won it because they just got more talent on the football field than what the Cowboys do. What do you make of the fact that was probably the first time that you and I have seen this in quite a bit? I thought the Cowboys won the night on the O-line and D-line.
Yeah.
I thought they won the night last night. Now, that had a lot to do with Carter and Landon being injured. Okay? Those are 2 significant dudes. I thought Milan had a rough night last night. Mulata got beat numerous times around the corner and pressuring Jalen Hurts. And I got to tell you, too, when they brought in that guy Toth or whatever and they put Steen in there, bro, I thought the Cowboys did a nice job in there. Not super, but they did enough. And on the offensive line, I got to tell you, man, that Tyler Smith kid, he can fucking play.
Yeah, he can.
Boy, that guy's a good football player. And
He's
you know what?
good.
Remember I said if they have 120 yards rushing, Zander, they're going to be in that ball game. And they had like 118 yards rushing. It was just enough to get play action going. Hey, that wasn't a Dak Prescott failure last night. That was a CeeDee Lamb failure. I mean, I thought Dak played well last night.
Tough to defend CeeDee Lamb after that, man. Those were some crucial drops by him in that game. You could argue that the outcome of the game would be different if he makes some of those plays. Couple crucial third downs late in the football game, the one deep down the field. I mean, I'm not even talking about that last one on the fourth down because that was a tough catch. But those other three were pretty egregious. So, no, I agree.
What do you make of here? Campbell going back and Makuba? Yeah. I'll tell you what.
You see that Campbell was the highest grade. I don't know what you think of PFF, but he was the highest graded. He was the highest graded defensive football player in the entire game yesterday.
If you watched him, I thought his big problem was going to be in drops and in coverage. He did a nice job at Ferguson. I thought he filled the holes pretty well. And I love the fact that he played more than Trotter because that means you're going to get more out of him. He's more of a weapon than Trotter. No disrespect to Trotter. And for Makuba got beat. It's okay. But, you know, there's no doubt. There is no doubt he's head and heels above Sidney Brown. Sidney Brown cannot play.
Come on, Brian Pumper.
He can't play.
Brian, what's up, man? Keely Ringo ain't out there and ain't even anywhere to be found. Sidney Brown's already hit the bench. I don't think he's reaching the field. Brian Pump, you're not shooting a good percentage right now, my man. You're not shooting a good percentage right now, B Pump.
You think Bennett gets that start out there?
I think it's coming pretty soon. I don't think he's that much better, though. I think he's better. I think he's better fundamentally, position-wise. Like, you know, with some of that stuff. But I don't – what's the difference? If you get beat for 15 yards or you take a penalty for 15 yards? You know what I mean? I don't really know. So I think they got a problem out there anyway. But somebody brought this up last night. I don't know. I think you were off the postgame show at this point. But he was like, how bad's Keely Ringo if Adoree Jackson looked like that and he was the guy that Vic wanted?
That's terrible. It absolutely is. How do you think Q played?
All right. I think when I look back at the numbers and kind of what happened, it was a little better than I thought. I don't think he played his best game. But look, the Cowboys got tough receivers. They got good receiving core, man. They got CeeDee Lamb. They got George.
Were they not better than you thought?
They were better than I thought. And it's kind of to my point of earlier in the summer. Remember, I used to say that the Cowboys might get second in the NFC East. Now, I don't think they're actually gonna. But that was one of my early bold predictions. And we'll see. We'll see how good they are. They definitely looked like a team that could survive the loss of Michael Parsons more than I thought. That's for sure. You know, they were better on the interior of the D line. That's for sure. Yeah, I mean, how many times did the Eagles try and run that hash HB dive right up the fucking middle and just get stuffed? I'm like, dude, kick it outside. That's why I was wondering what's going on with AJ.
Is this a crazy comment? But that's the best I've seen the Cowboy defense look against the Eagles in 2 years, and that's without Parsons. I mean, right? I thought they looked better without him. Now the pressure was not there. Let me ask you this: something else here. Your edge rushers. What'd you make of Hunt and Nolan Smith?
Hunt is not there yet, where a lot of people thought he would be for the season. Shady, I love you. I don't know if you're in here, Shady. 3.5 sacks was the projection from Shady. A lot of guys projected Jalen Carter was going to be ready to be the number 2 edge. I don't see it. I don't see it yet. I think this team.
They want him as the 3rd swing guy.
Exactly. Now if you got him as the 3, you're looking good. Now you're looking pretty good. You know. Now I don't know if the Howie will make a move. Apparently, there's now a lot of people talking about that Howie is, adding to the edge rusher room. It's only a matter of time. So we'll see to what level of a splash they would make or an addition they would make to that room. But it's going to be interesting to see. They certainly didn't get much pressure. And even John said it this morning. Now, I don't know. I'm going to watch the All-22 tonight before that night game. I'm excited for Friday Night Football. I mean, I was just pumped because, the Eagles game is obviously great, but it's also a grind. You work your balls off, which I love, by the way. I'm not complaining about it. But I'm going to kick my feet when I finish
the
my work
Chargers winning tonight.
Ooh, I don't think so.
Yeah.
You and John, man. You love Justin Herbert.
No, I love Jim Harbaugh. No, I'm a Jim Harbaugh guy. That guy doesn't fucking lose, man.
If you're Andy Reid and you watched that football game last night and you got your ass beat by that team 6 months ago in the Super Bowl, what do you think he was thinking?
They had to improve the roster. Where did they improve it?
Well, I'm talking about what do you think he was thinking of the Eagles?
Run the ball?
No, I'm thinking that ain't the team that beat our ass in the Super Bowl.
Oh, no. You're talking the Eagles. No.
I'm talking what Andy Reid's thinking.
You're looking forward to play. Oh, yeah. That's going to be quite – let me say this to you. If Kansas City with Mahomes was on the field, Mahomes would have dissected that secondary for insane yardage. Now, again, we got to remember, they don't have top-flight wide receivers on that football team. But I'll say this to you, man. I still do this. Where did Kansas City improve their team in the offseason? Show me where they improved it.
Yeah, but how many years have we said that?
They lost 2 O-linemen. They lost some guys in their defense. Where did they add? In the draft?
Yeah, but
Dude,
where?
It's still Mahomes. I get it. I'm with you. It's still Mahomes. He's always going to be in the Super Bowl conversation.
I don't know. Look, they might come back to earth, but until they do, I'm not picking against them. I mean, I watched them a couple years ago when they won the Super Bowl and they beat the 49ers in the Super Bowl. They looked like dog shit for about 14 weeks.
Hey, they beat the Eagles with
Juju. They woke up from their 3-month snooze and said, all right, time to play football again. And then they marched their way to a Super Bowl championship. So I don't know. I'm not ready to count that team out yet. I'm sorry. I'm not ready to pick the Chargers.
How about this one here? You think the lack of vets on that football team on defense is a factor?
Yes. When we talked about it all offseason, I think it was evident it's a factor. It's going to be a factor. Think about it. You lost Brandon Graham, Darius Slay, Josh Sweat, Oren Burks. Isaiah Rodgers even has a lot more experience than most of these guys. CJ has way more experience than these guys. You lost a lot of guys. Milton Williams, you lost a lot of dudes that had a lot of reps in the NFL. And you replaced them with good young – I mean, there's some young talent, don't get me wrong. But I think there's a reason that teams look to have, a good balance of youth and upside and pedigree and veteran leadership, and you got to kind of bridge that gap. While it's a young man's game, you got to keep those guys on the rails. I mean, if Brandon Graham was out there last night, honestly, I believe this. You might not have even have seen Jaylen Carter. Oh, think about it. Jaylen Carter was standing over in their huddle, basically alone. There was no other Eagle defender with him. That's normally Brandon Graham, who's got everybody back in the huddle, and he's hollering across the line of scrimmage.
He was chirping at Tyler Booker.
Who? JC? Carter was?
Yes, he was chirping at him.
I don't hate that. Keep chirping. But
no, because the kid was chirping at him. Remember? He was going, I'm looking forward to playing against them. And I think what he said was, hey, you about to get the whole bunch of me just about now here. So supposedly what I'm being told is that he said something shitty to him like this. Hey, Tyler, you're going to get a whole handful of me.
Yeah,
and Dak said something, and he goes, remember, Dak goes, I had to defend my guy because he was chirping at
Dak. I don't like Dak. I'm sorry. No, hear me out, though. Hear me out. I'm an Eagles guy. I care about Jaylen Carter more than I care about Dak because Jaylen Carter impacts the Eagles. Dak Prescott does not. So I'm going to be harder on Jaylen Carter than I am on Dak Prescott. But if you take that out of it for a second and you look at Dak Prescott, he's a fucking phony. That was a phony-ass response he had. Oh, what did you want me to spit on my lineman? Oh, really, Dak? Is that what you were doing, Dakota? I mean, that's a shitty – bro, don't sell me a pile of bullshit. I don't want to be sold a pile of bullshit. I would have rather said, next question. Next question. I'm not talking about that. Oh, did you think I was going to spit on my lineman? Oh, really? Really, Dak? I mean, come on, dude. I hate that. I'm sorry. I don't like phony dudes. I don't like phony people, man. Just
I
give it
just
to me
got
straight.
something
I
said
don't
to me.
like phonies.
I got something said to me. Do you know that since 2020, CeeDee Lamb's got the most drops of any wide receiver in the
I
NFL?
saw that.
35.
Dude, that's a lot of drops.
And you're paying that guy $36 million.
Well, he clearly gets open. I mean, that drop he had deep, that by the way, speaking of Dak, what a hell of a throw that was on that one
That was
drop
great.
down the
Yep.
He cooked Quinyon Mitchell on that.
Yep.
He did.
Yeah.
Quinyon Mitchell was complete, flat out beat. And Dak dropped that thing right in the breadbasket. It bounced off CeeDee Lamb's hands. You know, so you got to be careful.
I thought Dak played elite football last. I thought both quarterbacks did. I did. I thought both quarterbacks. That wasn't a Dak issue last night when it came to losing that ball game. That was man. They had a ton of drops in here. All right. So, coming away from that game? Where's your biggest concern?
I think the team still has a good nucleus. You know, I think defensively, Jahad Campbell is
I'm concerned about Landon, just so you know.
I don't disagree with you there. I'm a little bit on edge, not on edge, but you know, what is the evolution of the offense going to look like? And I don't think it's maybe as big of a problem as we thought maybe like a year ago, but I don't think you can put Jalen Hurts in the position you put him in last night every single week and just expect him to bail you out. I mean, let's get a little more creative here. We got Devontae, we got AJ, we got Dotson, who can kind of play. You got these other backing receivers, John Mechie, Darius Cooper. They just signed another dude to the practice squad and released Antoine Powell-Ryland. You know, all these receivers. Let's help out the quarterback a little bit. You know, so I don't know. We'll see how the offense evolves. It's only week one, so I'm not gonna crucify him on that yet. Defensively, all of the weaknesses that we talked about all offseason, where you teased me and you said they took a blowtorch, you know, and that blowtorch kind of showed up last night.
It did. But I'm going to actually go on your side here for a moment and go, it's September Liars Month.
It is.
So you got to kind of hang in there. I think we have to wait and see 3 games into this before. I'll tell you, my concern is this, bro. You are not the same offensive line. If Landon Dickerson is continuing to play like that, why don't you fucking sit his ass? Get him healthy, bro. You need that guy in a stretch run. You don't need that guy now. Dude, you're telling me.
I said that this morning, and John hit me with, you got to get to September, Zander. January, Zander. You can't just assume you're going to be there. And I thought that was a good point.
So, but you're under the assumption you're head and heels above everybody right now. Without Landon Dickerson, you're still in the room with them.
Dude, it's a new season.
Landon Dickerson, you're better. So wait a minute. This was going to be a tight race for the NFC Championship anyway. What happened right now with Eagle fans? Reality is now hit. Couple injuries here, not performing at certain positions. Zander, you could put 7 teams in a hat and come out with this. Bucks-Rams NFC title game, Eagles-Rams NFC title game. You could have Lions-Rams, Eagles. This is going to be a tight race. What's going to be the determining factor? Freaking health. Health. You need Landon. Bro, you can't put that guy Toth and Steen in the middle of your team. They're going to get handled, man.
Well, I didn't think Steen was so bad. I didn't think he looked that bad.
He was okay, not great. But let me tell you this. How do you think Tooth and Steen line up against that Giants D line?
Yeah, not good. That Giants team is going to give people a hard time because of how good the D line is.
Especially if you're injured in that interior.
Dude, they got like their third edge rusher is arguably better than
third edge rusher is Abdul Carter.
And is he better than Nolan Smith?
Yeah. And you know what? I think Kayvon Thibodeau might be.
So their third edge rusher is better than our first edge rusher?
Their
the New York Giants?
And their first guy are clearly Burns is better, Thibodeau's better, and Abdul Carter's better.
I think what the Giants got to do is they got to get that Jackson Dart kid ready to play and get him in
there. Let him get in there and let's go.
I mean, I maybe give him a couple weeks on the bench, but if they go to him, and I think he can play, so we'll see what he's able to do.
Did you think Becton's loss was felt?
I always thought Becton was the one that didn't make a lot of sense to me because he was like $6 million. Like he wasn't even that expensive. You know, why not just keep continuity for continuity's sake when you're coming off a running season like you were? But, you know, we'll see what ends up happening with it. I think it's definitely something to keep an eye on. I'm honestly a little bit more concerned about Landon Dickerson right now than I am about Tyler Steen.
Do you believe, last ones here for you, then we'll get to super chats. Gotta wait. By the way, guys, please hit the like button. Dude, why Isaiah Rodgers, bro, is so missed right now. He'd be starting out there.
It's Slay that's missed.
Okay, if you wanted to move off of Slay, why move off both of them?
Yeah, I don't get it either, really. I mean, I think they were banking on Ringo, my friend. I think they were banking on Ringo. And that dude, he's nowhere to be found. He's third on the depth chart. They didn't even shit. I didn't even see that dude once.
Get any playing time?
No.
Wow.
He probably got some special. I mean, he was a special teamer. You know, he's a gunner. That's what he is. We drafted a 4th round gunner.